Like I did a song by LA Riot. I did a song called LA Riots about a lot of LA politics and different things. That was commissioned by someone. They heard what I was doing. They saw my talent. They got a budget together. They sat down with me. This is what I want it to be about. They gave me a budget. I went out and made it happen. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, like, if I want to tell a story, like my song is Skid Row, at the end of the video, it got some facts about Skid Row and how they were denied a neighborhood council by the city. If I want to tell a story, I might make a song for the world to see. If someone want me to tell a story, I might make a song for the world to see. But most of my music is mine. It's private. I'm never sharing it with anybody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it just get made and then it get deleted. So, like, I feel like it just I couldn't live without music. It's my thing. It just keep me going. You know what I'm saying?
It's kind of like a therapeutic outlet, right? Like, I mean, I know, like, for me, sometimes I used to write down, like, what I was feeling, good, bad, and then, like, I burn it up.
For sure,
you know, like,
sure.
just like, because I think just being pinned up, you got to get it out somehow. So, like, writing it down, even in, like, little songwriting shit that I used to do, no plugs or anything. We're not going to look up any songs. But no, man, I used to love, like, writing songs because, like, you can create your own story. That's very therapeutic in itself. But, like, I feel you when, like, you just kind of, like, want to write shit down. You don't want anybody else to know, but it's your way to get it out. Even if you're putting it, you know, on wax. I don't know if they use that terminology anymore, but you get to, like, record it in the booth. Yeah, it's just a way to get all, like, your feelings out. So, yeah.
So, and when they say putting on wax, that's crazy because they actually found the wax cylinders. They found wax cylinders that was just sitting there, stored, archived, of the oldest African American recording of Swing Low, Sweet Chariot that way predated when they thought this song had ever been recorded. Yeah. And I feel like that's crazy that when we say on wax, it's mostly rappers that say that. Like, rock stars don't say they put it on wax. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of artists don't say that, but that's mostly a hip hop thing. And that's funny to me because the first songs that was being put on wax was a lot of gospel, jubilee, a lot of spirituals. And I feel like it was a way that black people could express things that they wasn't even allowed to express at the time. But then at the same time, they was flipping it. And, like, the first major recording artist who was black, his first song, The Whistling Coon, was a white writer writing a racist derogatory song with a white composer, and then tracking down a talented black artist who could hit all different ranges and also had this whistling skill, and bringing him in to record this derogatory song that's down to his own self. And I feel like we don't even peep how deep that's still going on today. Like, the major companies that are working in the music industry, if you look at the case that's going on right now with Young Thug and YSL, no one in the label is being investigated for that. You know what I'm saying? The label above him, they're not a gang, but they was paying for all of this. They was putting all this together. Yeah. But all the young black artists, they're the gang. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But all these white executives and all these people, it's okay for them to make money off of gang-related stuff, murdering black people, disrespecting black women. You know, and they only could do it against black people, because if you make a song like the Baby did, and he called a white girl the B word, boom. You know what I'm saying? It's backlash ASAP. But then when Megan Thee Stallion was fighting her case, even Drake putting her down, because it's a black woman. So they're gonna talk about her completely different and put her down, and the industry is okay with that in the pop realm, in the R&B, and in the rap realm. So I feel like when you put it on wax, as African American artists, we're coming from a lineage, we're coming from a legacy, and we should know what those words mean. Yeah. Like, we should actually know what that means and where we come from, and how music has been our outlet and been our expression, but it's also been used to as a derogatory way to demean us, to dehumanize us. The minstrel show was the first original American form of entertainment, and for over 100 years, that was the biggest entertainment type in America, and that was just putting on black face paint and ridiculing black people and dehumanizing them. That was their whole entire music form. That's when people say, like, America doesn't have a culture. White America doesn't have a culture. Yes, it does. Dehumanizing, degrading black people is their culture. Like, appropriating black people to use it negatively is their culture. Right now, the young white students at UCLA, when they talk, they mostly talk in AAVE. They mostly talk in African American vernacular English. When they want to say something that's cool, that's funny, that's slick, and it blew my mind. Because when I was in the National Youth Forum on Homelessness, I was working with a lot of people that's in the ballroom scene in New York. So that's like the LGBTQ scene in New York City, how they express themselves, how they talk. So I was around their lingo. And when I came to UCLA and I'm hearing white kids using their lingo, I'm like, why is they using? And then I would ask them, do you know where that's from? They don't even know where it's from, where that came from, what it is, what it means. They just using it. And it's like, that is their culture. Appropriating Black Americans' culture is a culture for them. And I feel like we got to call them out on that. And we got to make people aware of that. And we got to remind them that, or else it just continue to happen and no one talks about it. Like the Island Boys, you know what I'm saying? That whole thing, that was so disrespectful to Black people, their whole entire thing that they did. What's that? 6ix9ine, the rapper Tekashi 6ix9ine. Like even their greatest rapper Eminem, his first song was called "Foolish Pride," talking about how Black pride is a form of foolishness. And on the song, he talks. I mean, a lot of people try to say, no, that was just he got broken up with by a Black girl, so he was venting. Do a close reading of those lyrics. Go back again. I know that's your favorite rapper, but go back again and read what he said in that song. He talks so much about how Black women are worthless, about how Black men are so degraded. He just put us down for the whole 4 or 5 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Right. And his when it got discovered that he did that song, his apology was moot. It was nothing. So I feel like it's taken for granted that we can be dehumanized and disrespected through the music when really what we putting on wax, we're supposed to put out something positive. And that don't mean you always got to be positive. Sometimes you got to get the negative out there. And sometimes you might even want to get the negative out there. You don't want to write it down and burn it. You want the people to know how you feeling. Because if you don't, you might have to burn down the city. Yeah. But you should still be doing, I feel like you should still be doing something with a purpose. Like, don't just be doing music for the money. Because a lot of people, they do it, and it's like, why you want to rap, little bro? I want to rap because I seen Cuz music video, and he had a Lamborghini, and he had a Maserati, and then it's like, bro, you just want the money, bro.
Yeah,
that's foul, bro.
But even, like, real talk, man, like, that's, like, all video, right? Like, I remember, like, going to those video sets, nobody owned those cars. Like, that was usually, like, either the white exec, that was his Lambo or his Porsche, right? And then you had like all the girls, they were paid in, and none of that shit was real. Like man, like that's like that dream, right? And then it's portrayed in our community like that's the way that you succeed. And I just remember growing up, that was the only way. You either was an athlete or you were like some rapper or some singer, and that's the way you got out the hood, you know? And I think that's why education became so important, especially later on for me, because I just started realizing, nah, man, that's not the only way. Like, and it's not enough of us that are educated that are going back in the hood to show them like there is other ways, you know. And so sometimes I think we get blindsided by that, right? And it's one of those like double-edged swords within our own community. Like, you want to see us succeed, but we know that other people that are not us are the ones profiting off of that. And then I had this conversation with someone about like athletes, right? And I'm like, man, you see like LeBron get, I don't know, $100 million like a year or something like that, right? But like, who's paying LeBron, and like how much money do they have if that's what they're giving him? You know what I'm saying? So like, that's the shit I start thinking about.
I got a homegirl here in LA, and she from Honduras, and she got basically pulled in like when her and her daughter needed a birthday party. A rich white LA writer decided he would throw the birthday party. Like, the organization she was working with, they reached out to the rich people, and he did it. So when I actually got to understanding like who she be around and what's going on, because she like FaceTime me from mansions and stuff, and I'm trying to figure out like, are we in the same situation? We struggling as single parents. Like, why is what's going on in your world? Like, when I got to break it down like who these people was, like, and really seeing like the dad over that family is one of the biggest billionaires, and one of the houses that he purchased, it's in the news because it's one of the most expensive real estate purchases in history. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And like, seeing a lifestyle and how like they got the butlers, they got the maids, the nannies, all this different stuff, that really just opened my eyes to like what's really going on outside of the hood that we never get to see. And when he started helping Shorty, the one of his son that's a writer, one of the first things he did was buy her story. And he didn't pay her $5 million. He paid her like $5,000 and buy her story. Like, oh, you made it from Honduras to America. You had to cross the border. You had to go through this. Oh, let me get that real quick. It's like, why did he want that? Why did he need that? He's not gonna make $5,000 off that. He's gonna make $1 million off of that. He's gonna make something real crazy off of that. That's a crazy story. Like, my story, that's my story. It helped me through a lot of doors. I've went to nonprofits like United Way and different things, and yeah, you can use my story in a certain way in exchange for something, but you can't own it. You can't have the rights to anything that's me. I own everything me, and I would never give anything me to anybody. Like, that's why Prince was going through that whole thing about getting his name back.
Yeah.
And it's like, can you really feel sorry for people when they fighting for their name or complaining that they didn't get paid, compensated correctly? I could certain amount of generations ago, but I can't now. Like, I can't feel bad for you to enter a contract that wasn't negotiated right, and you a grown adult in modern times that could have represented yourself better than that, whether you had a lawyer or not. Maybe someone else got more empathy than me, but from my background, I could never feel sorry for you for that. I feel like you supposed to hold down your situation and rep for yourself and stand on your own 2 feet and get it how you live out here and be honest. I would never sit here and network and politic with people and know that behind the scenes, everybody living broke and tell you that the video was real. That's how they living. Yeah. Get it like that, and you know, do what he doing. You finna be like, I don't lie to people. That's not how I represent myself, and that's not how I would represent to the culture. So for me, I feel like honesty is the best policy. I'd rather be broke and keep it real and say I'm struggling right now, I'm hurting right now, my pocket's damp right now, I need some help, than for me to sit here and flex and brag and say I'm out here in the Maserati, the Rolls, the Lambo, and there's no one that could be above me that could tell me, Milagro, this will make you this much money or this will help. Cut it out. I ain't even trying to hear it. Like, for me, I come from nothing. I come from the bottom. Like, I come from intergenerational homelessness. I was born into homelessness, you know what I'm saying? Like, me and my daughter been out here in blizzards. Yeah. We been out here carrying her in my arms in a blizzard. The only person that stopped was some college student slowed down and flipped me off and laugh at me. You know what I'm saying? And that's before I even had my mind ever set on college. Like, I feel like, yeah, rapping, ball playing, that was all we knew that could get you out, or trapping. Most likely trapping, to be honest with you. So school never was supposed to be a route to get me out. And actually, most schools, if I had chose them, I would have still just been in the hood going to school. The only reason that UCLA got me out of a bad circumstance is because, UCLA, the first UC to have guaranteed housing. Like I would have went to UC Riverside to study creative writing. That'd be more fun for me. But UC Riverside has a waiting list of over a year for a single parent to get housing. Yeah. So I would have been in a homeless shelter or in the hood talking about, I made it to a UC, man. They really helping me out. Knowing I'm going back to the shelter, like, nah. Yeah. UCLA, I chose this primarily for the housing. Like, I knew it was the one, but when it came down, I got accepted here, accepted Berkeley, accepted UC Riverside. I was like, I'll go over there until it hit the fan, like, guaranteed housing, bro. Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? You want the key, bro. You want the key, bro. You better go there, because that's gonna get a roof over your head. Like, since I've been in LA, I've been trapping out of shelters, motels, 1-bedrooms. Like, going to UCLA, my daughter got her own bedroom right now. Like, and I got a bedroom. My daughter used to have the bedroom, and I'd be on the couch. You know what I'm saying? As a grown man who been out here struggling his whole life, it's crazy how good it feel to me just to have a bedroom. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I know, like, it was teenagers who had a bedroom. Like, it was kids who had a bedroom. It was a lot of, but for me, I had to be a grown man to have my own bedroom. I had to go to UCLA to have my own bedroom. Like, it just feel good to me to be able to put posters up on a wall. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? And be able to just kick back on my bed. I'm not on a couch. Like, I can stretch my legs out and relax. You know what I'm saying? Like, so to me, I feel like, is school the top dream that people have? Like, that's how you gonna make it out? Nah, but it could be. But it should be. But it can be. Like, you know what I'm saying? It is
what you make it.
Yeah, like, people can start promoting, people that's actually cooling, that's actually looked up to, they can start promoting school. Like, The Weeknd got a song called Losers on Beauty Behind the Madness, and it start out, only losers go to school. Man. I taught myself how to move. You know how ashamed I was to go back to school? When everybody I look up to always talk about how school is for losers? You know what I'm saying? Like, why is that the narrative? School is for losers, nerds. You know what I'm saying? You go to school, you're a loser. You be in the club popping bottles right now. And it's like, and you got to think, like, why would you listen to these people? Like, they addicted to substances that they not trying to get off of. They wasting their life in the club. You know what I'm saying? Like, they throwing their money down the drain at exotic dancers. Like, why are you worried about them? But when you in that street mentality, you think that's the way. So I feel like our role models, the ones that's really coming up out of the hood, they need to start promoting education. They need to start telling the youth the vehicle that education can be, because you will come to find out that brothers like Ice Cube had a college degree before they joined NWA, and your mind will be blown. You'd be like, what? He wasn't in the hood trapping? No, that was Eazy-E. That was Eazy-E trapping. He went from college to NWA. They won't tell you that part. You got to find out for yourself. So I feel like the education piece is powerful. it's important. It can actually save your life. It can open up doors for you. It could change your life. But in order for it to even be something for us, if you notice, like the rates that we enrolling in is dropping. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? The retention rates aren't as high as they should be. For us young brothers to even know it exists, we need the role models. We need the people to even promote it and tell us it's even a possibility. You know what I'm saying?
And that's why I said get back in the community.
Yes, this is a very important conversation. So I'm glad you brought that up. So that brings us to this transition. And so, I guess there's a lot of young people looking at you right now. They see, you have a very bright personality. You have a very successful hip hop career ahead of you, but they also might not always see that you're also a very successful, talented, intellectual college student. So with that said, given that you have those two identities, what do you plan on doing with your degree once you're done here, and what do you plan to use that for towards the community?
Yeah, for sure. So right now, I'm doing research in an undergraduate research program called the Mellon Mays Fellowship, and I'm studying hip hop and certain elements of hip hop. Like, for example, I'm studying Chief Keef's mixtape that he did called Glory Road, and he did that with DJ Ken Aon from Yamagata Prefecture, Japan. So this is a gang member who's a child in Chicago with the BDs who runs into a Japanese citizen who just came to America like, I want to go to America. He didn't even have a plan. He didn't even know what he was going to do. Who runs into Big Keef, Chief Keef's uncle, and just ends up renting a spot from him. And then when he rents the spot from him, he teaches himself how to make beats. He teaches himself how to shoot videos. And he filmed Bang, Chief Keef's first viral hit. And he produced tracks for Chief Keef that was on Glory Road and other mixtapes. So I feel like I'm speaking about the Asian American and African American literary collaboration that happened there, but I'm doing it from the premise that gang literature is literature. Right. That Glory Road is a piece of literature. It's not just a mixtape that was done by a young at the time gang member. It's a piece of literature, and it can be held up to where Beowulf is at. So Beowulf with the Gayots and the Danes and the culture that they have that goes back to flighting, which is just like battle rapping. Yeah. It's two cats that love poetry, that's toasting each other and roasting each other back and forth in the poetic. You know what I'm saying? So looking at all the poetry that comes out of the Scandinavian culture and putting that in conversation with the gangs, and why is it that when the Scandinavian culture has the Gayots and the Danes collaborating, they're heroes. But when you got the people of color collaborating, it's anti-hero. Why is that? Right. And then I'm talking about that. Why are we depicted the way that we're depicted? And for me, I feel like that's the work that I want to do here at UCLA. I want to promote that gang literature is literature, and I want to promote that hip hop is a form of literature, not only when it's Common and Nas and Lupe, but even when it's the Chief Keefs. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like right now it's a divide. Either you conscious or you doing that gangster stuff. You gotta, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I want to show that it's all literature, and it's not any less literary because they're talking about those issues than it would be less literary for Beowulf to be talking about the violence that the Gayots and the Danes are going through. Right. So that's one thing I want to do here is do the research and build up enough that when I get to graduate school, you know what I'm saying, I can continue the research. You know what I'm saying? For sure. I want to get my PhD, you know what I'm saying? I want to be Dr. Jones one day, you dig what I'm saying?
And if you need support, we got you.
For sure. That's the dream to do what I'm supposed to do here, keep my grades up, be active in different programs, you know what I'm saying? Be very much a ambassador. Like I don't really, that's not how I dress, you know what I'm saying? Like you said, the last time you see me, I had on the whole Gothic fit, but I came here with UCLA colors on. You know what I'm saying? With UCLA colors on. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to be an ambassador too. I want to be honest and tell people like the reason why I'm even able to do a lot of stuff I'm doing right now is because of UCLA. Like they took a chance on me. They opened the door for me. Like they didn't have to let me up in here, but they did. And I'm grateful. And I want to be a good ambassador, and I want to actually do something positive with what I have. So I want to go to graduate school. I want to get my education up to the level where I can be a professor one day. And I feel like me being in a classroom and me actually sharing knowledge, I feel like no matter what I'm doing, let's say I had 10 other hustles going on that could have opened up doors that give me more money. Let's say I had to take a pay loss to do that. I still work out into my life plan that I'm going to do that one day. Yeah. Because I feel like that's something I need to do. That's something I have to do. Like I read this book called Man, Child, and the Promised Land when I was in the streets. and it's by Clyde Brown. He talk about coming out of Harlem and all the drugs that was around him and the gangs that was around him and everything that was going on and how that education got him out. And at the time, I didn't even think my route would have been education. Right. And it took a long time for me to look back on that book and that experience he talked about and realize, like, yo, this education piece is really important. You know what I'm saying? Like, this book by Brent Staples, Parallel Time, in his memoir, he talked about how education was for him, like, as a black man, being on the campus, and when you're walking around to stretch your legs at night, the white woman is, like, speeding up and running away because she see you as a threat. Like, I was on this campus the other day. I was trying to ask this shorty where this building was at. So I just walked up to this white student to ask her a question, and she got terrified and fled. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just trying to ask you.
I'm trying to ask a question.
But I got to realize, like, I have a context for that. I read Brent Staples' book, Parallel Time. I read his essays, in the essay where he talked about that. I know, like, what's going on behind the scenes and what's happening. And I know that this is important. So for me, I feel like the little, it's like when your grandma tell you something, it don't mean nothing at the time. But then something happen, you think about it.
You go back,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's like that. All these people was telling me along the way that education mattered, but I wasn't seeing it. I was reading about it, hearing about it, but I didn't see it. Because when you living in a community where the education sucks, I remember I was going to school, it'd be classrooms with no books. Just think about being in a classroom with not a single book. It's no learning center. It's no book. It's no computer lab. Your teacher played the dozens with you for a whole hour. He rib you, and he wants you to rib him back. Any white, any racist, and when you protest that shouldn't we have books in here and be learning, he tell you, isn't this what y'all like to do? No, this is what y'all like to do. Y'all like to rib, so we just gonna rib. And the other students mad at you for asking, shouldn't we have a book to be getting homework and reading? So, like, coming from those type of environments, and then they expel you even when you the one who didn't do it, if you won't tell on the person who did, and they'll tell you they know that you innocent, but you better tell on him or we're going to expel you when they put you out. You never get the sense that education could do something for me. Right. You know what I'm saying? How's it going to help me? It never was making any sense. So I feel like for me, it got to be, for me, I really can't even say nothing else about it. Like, it's like, I ain't gonna lie, it's like kind of painful for me to speak on. Like, I'm me. I do the music. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I do the school too, and that don't make me a loser. Not that don't, you know what I'm saying? That don't take away. It hurts. I don't know. It hurts me to be at school because I know what I came from, and I know what the choice was that I had to turn down to get here. So it's like it's an identity crisis to be a student and to come from where I come from and to be doing this. But I'm trying to do something different. I'm trying to be something different. I'm trying to just think outside the box, basically. You know what I'm saying?
No, trying to be like, G'd up and agreed up.
Yeah, and I mean, real talk. Like, someone has to go through what you went through and then be the example so that others can follow. So, I mean, it feels like a sacrifice, but, you know, in reality, you're just paving the path for others who may not even know that it's possible. So, real talk. I'm proud of you, man.
We both proud of you.
So I appreciate that 100%.
We appreciate you for existing.
Yeah, and all that you went through, man. Like, it wasn't for nothing. Like, it's definitely about to make a difference in this world, so don't ever doubt that.
So
you got it.
And I feel like opportunities like this, to me, this matter more than just rapping.
Yeah.
Because everybody can't even break down what you're saying when you're rapping, unless you slow it down like Pac did, which sometimes I don't feel like I want to tongue twist and you know, go crazy with it. So that's a good outlet, but sometimes it's good to just speak your mind, speak your piece. Because I know, like, I went to Drop In Caps recently and told the Drop In Caps lady, like, hey, my sister had committed suicide. And being from the streets, you know, the coping mechanisms that we know is sometimes just pull up and do something negative. And I need a positive coping mechanism. And y'all got that here. I know y'all got that here because I know the population y'all serve, who their parents are, they're not going to let them be feeling like that. And y'all don't offer them something better.
Right.
So Shorty told me, she told me like, well, is that what you used to do? You used to drink? And I was like, yeah, that's what I'm telling you. I need something else different than that. And she's like, well, sometimes that's just the best that you can do. Sometimes you do just need it. I'm like, wait a minute, are you telling me to go have a drink? Yeah. And I'm telling you I need something different, yo? You telling me to go have a drink? Like, that was to me so disrespectful and self-destructive for that to be the advice. So it's like, yeah, it's cool that stuff exists, that mental health does exist, that they have an industry of that. But when you go to those spaces, they're not always equipped or prepared for you. They don't always even understand where you're coming from. Like, their vibe is like a clinical setting with the white walls, you know what I'm saying? With, like, how is this inspiring? This depressing. You know what I'm saying? This is like an institution. You didn't even put the posters up, or I just put myself in a mindset. I can't understand them. Like I would have like aromatherapy going on. I would have certain colors. You know what I'm saying? I would have certain music playing. I would have to be dressed a certain way. Like things would have to be very soothing and like trying to help you. But for them, I feel like it's just all right. Cross another name off the list. Move on to the other one. And they always want to try to give you some medication. Like, I'm not accepting that. I'm not even accepting the possibility of that. Like, we could talk it out, but you ain't going to give me drugs. You ain't going to be my pusher. You know what I'm saying? Because the pusher in the hood, he can't push. He going to jail. So how come you could push? Like, I'm good on all that. Yeah. But it's like, sometimes you need to talk it out, get it off your chest. And, like, spaces like this is just dope to me that you can just come through, speak your piece, share your story, and get it off your chest. You know what I'm saying? 100.
Yeah. But don't forget, I mean, this stuff is record, so you say some shit,
right. I ain't gonna be like, you know what I'm saying, naming no names, or like, hey, I understand people don't realize that, like the DJ Vlad interviews or the 1090 Jake. I feel like, and a lot of times, when you really notice when it is those platforms, a lot of times they're a white face, like No Jumper and stuff. It's always a white man who have a platform to speak to the hood, and you get a lot of hood cats in there to snitch on themselves. Yeah, and I feel like it maybe behind the scenes there are federal or CIA or someone that's involved with that. And maybe those were set up by them. Who knows? But I know, like me, I'm not going out like that. Like I would never go into a space and like telling myself. Now, if you an organization who doing some dirt, maybe y'all come in there and expose you. Like how how Malcolm X towards the end of his life was going into grand jury rooms trying to expose the Nation of Islam. You know what I'm saying? Maybe y'all come and expose you if you doing some dirt. You know what I'm saying? And you an organization out there, so you might want to watch your back and do what's right since you getting all that money. But I'll never go and like, you know what I'm saying, tell on myself or put out you know what I'm saying, like something that could be flipped around on me. I'm gonna just keep it 100, keep it real, and like I'm uncensored, but I'm also like gonna be wise about what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? And if I write a memoir and I have to tell everything and tell it all, then I'm gonna have to use some poetic license.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? I have to switch up. I have to change it or something, right? I have to do something, put it as a fiction. You know what I'm saying?
Well, speaking of your story, we do appreciate you sharing it with us and letting all the young people and all the people out there know about who you are and the inspiration that both of y'all have given to the world that's listened to us through social media and our podcast.
For sure.
So with that, we should do a follow-up episode.
For sure. I'll leave you with some bars then.
All right, let's do it.
For sure. So this one I wrote, I got expelled from this school called Washington High School in Milwaukee, and they sent me to this, I wanted to be back in school, so I got myself into this one called St. Charles, which is like for the bad students. And I was reading about race and like history and stuff, and I'm biracial. I got a black parent and a white parent, so I wanted to write something like thinking about all that. So I wrote this when I was 16. It's untitled. I said, Africa's a tragedy. It's sad to see my people suffering daily. It's crazy, but then I guess it had to be. They heard about a paradise the Europeans had to see. Had to enslave, colonize, and become the majesty. Genocides and famines, machetes, pistols, and cannons. AIDS increased the death into the last man standing. The mother of all life on this miserable planet. I said the mother of all life on this miserable planet. The first civilizations made the white man panic. To discover that the mother of the earth was black, it's hard to believe. It's even harder to see the facts. Why? Because they covered up the truth with lies. Africa, the place that black youth despise. It's our culture and our history, a mystery to me. How we traded for the slave ships and liberty we see. Money with white faces, that's what I'm inheriting. You wonder why I'm ashamed they call us African Americans. Even the light-skinned people, it's in my veins too. I feel the pain and the anger and the shame too. If it was the 30s or 40s, they'd probably hang you. But since you a citizen, now they want to claim you. Judge you in their courtrooms, teach you their textbooks. Brown pride and black pride, to me, that's the best look. Afro puffs and medallion chains, you get buck trying to hold on a black stallion reins. I play the djembe drums for my elders and never forget growing up in those homeless shelters. New York City, all 5 boroughs I slept in. The blood, sweat, tears of this nation is what I stepped in and almost slipped too. But gained my grip and my grasp, but not to trick you and not to lie either. Because all the days as a kid when I had a high fever, it was my mom with white skin that nursed me, 6 months in the womb of a white woman that birthed me. I'm not afraid of my race, it's only earthly. I'm a half-breed, it's okay, it doesn't hurt me. Spiritually, we're all the same, because we're children of the Most High. So I'm going to spread my wings now, UCLA, and I'm going to let the Holy Ghost fly.
Hey,
And you see, I left that one part open so I could insert whatever name I want.
Insert UCLA.
hey, look, if you're a major record label, you might want to sign him.
Don't sleep.
Don't sleep on Daddy Milagro.
Let's get it. All right,
Appreciate
thanks,
y'all.
man, for coming, man.
Appreciate
We
you.
really appreciate it.
100,
Proud
100.
of you, dog.
100.
Keep it up.
For sure. One love. For sure.